Tax Tip of the Week is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services.
Hi, it's Kay with Jackson Hewitt's Tax Tip. There are several people that have questions about whether or not they should itemize or whether they should just take the standard deduction. So let's look at that for just a minute. When you itemize, you have to have more expenses that are allowed than the government will automatically give you as a standard deduction. So if you're a single person, the IRS gives you $6,100 in expenses. So if you were to itemize, you would need to beat that amount in mortgage interest, not mortgage principal, the taxes on your home, the car tabs, the sales tax, those kind of items. You can take your medical expenses, but as we've discussed in the past, you do have that threshold of 10% or 7.5% that you have to beat of your AGI before that becomes deductible, so sometimes that's hard. Remember, for those of you who have recently purchased a home and you have that low interest rate, the standard deduction may be higher than all of your expenses added together, and don't feel badly about that. In the olden days, we used to gather up all of our stuff and try and beat the IRS, but they have raised the standard deduction high, so they don't have to deal with all that paperwork, and neither do you. And so sometimes the standard deduction is a benefit to you, and they're giving you more credit than you can actually find on paper, so that's a good thing. So remember, if you're single and under 65, the threshold is $6,100. That's the standard deduction. The standard deduction for a married couple is $12,200. If you're over 65, it would be, if you're single, you get to add $1,600 to that standard deduction. If you're married, you get to add $1,200 per person to that deduction. If you're head of household, which means you're an adult with children, your standard deduction is $89.50. So just remember, it's not a bad thing to take the standard deduction. Lots of times they can give you more credit than you can actually show on paper, so it's a bonus to you. The government's giving you more than you have, so take it and enjoy it. Thanks for listening. This is Kay with Jackson Hewitt's Tax Tip.
Tax Tip of the Week is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services.